"There's something going on in this company," the boss said. He twisted in his chair, red tentacles flapping about, some caressing the keys of his cryoputer, while others touched various objects in the room. Phyrexians always see better through touch. "I can't be bothered," I answered. "Gilvox, I value you, you know that? To me, you're the future of this corporation." "To be honest, I don't give a fuck about you or this company. I'm only here so I can pay rent," I answered. "That's another thing about you Tetramites, you always speak your mind. That's why I enjoy talking to you. You can't hide what you're thinking." The boss leaned forward, his bulbous head dripping slime on the desktop. "Since the human was hired, production levels have gone up 400% with him leading the output. It's unprecedented. The amount of work we're putting in is the dream of every boss. But there's something here. This isn't normal." Of course it wasn't normal. I'd noticed it, even pointed it out in the back room as the human brewed a pot of what he called coffee. Some disgusting-looking brown-black liquid that humans must drink to function. I pointed out how odd it was that since the human came, the amount of work everyone was putting in was fairly higher than usual. I'd also pointed out that the coffee the human drank every moment of every passing day resembled the runny shits of a Biromitrin. Many agreed with the comparison with runny shits, but few commented on the level of work output. The human just looked at me like I wasn't even there. "You've noticed it, haven't you?" the boss said. "The human must be up to something. Do you think he wants my job?" "The human doesn't look bothered about anything." "Sort of like you. That's why I need you to get close to him. Figure out what's going on, and we shall see about a raise." The boss lowered his head and closed his eyes without waiting for a reply. Fast asleep, he'd be like that for the next 12 hours. That's the benefit of being the boss. I understood his dilemma. The more the work output, the more pressure he'd have to increase salaries. Also, the company was a branch of an interstellar organization, and with the output, profits were skyrocketing, which meant they would attract the attention of the higher-ups, which meant promotion, and this would require the boss to leave his comfortable post to go somewhere with more responsibilities. Something he loathed. The lazy bastard. I exited the office, but not before snatching one of the gold ink fountain pens that are worth a month of my salary. I went straight to the secretary in charge of gossip within the office. Her name was Emalada, a Hivoxian from planet Austeris. I found her typing on the cryoputer. Her fingers are blow on the keyboard. She only ever wrote 400 words a day, summarizing everything as uneventful. Now she was stacking up files full of written accounting details, categorized according to data input in relation to work output. A task that takes 7 workers to do in 3 months, she was doing alone within a day. "Hello, Emalada," I said. "I'm not in the mood for your negative vibes," Emalada answered. Her tentacle hair was standing on end, which was odd for things that usually sliver. Her yellow eyes were too large and too bright. She lifted a brown case of some liquid and took a sip of it before smacking her lips. "What do you want?" "Awful amount of work you're doing there," I said. "What's it to you?" "Just odd, you know. I normally find you surfing cooking blogs, but for the past 2 days you've been working. Diligently. It's odd." "Fuck off," she said while still typing. "It has something to do with the human," I said. Her hand stopped, fingers hovering over the keyboard. "It does, doesn't it? There's something the human has done to everyone in this office." Emalada turned her eyes to me and smiled. "I have no idea what you're talking about." Then she went back to typing. The Gerossian, who normally delivers papers and files from one office to another at a slow, even pace that takes him close to half an hour to make a full circuit, was sprinting right past where I was standing. A silver flask in one hand that he was bringing to his lips as his feet flew him across the room, completing circuits within 5 minutes of what normally took him 30 minutes. A stash of files and papers were pressed to his midriff with one of his free hands, while the other waved at me as he sprinted by. I grabbed his waiting arm and tagged him to me. "What the fuck is going on?" I asked. I can't stop! He started pumping himself up and down, lowering his four-jointed legs and raising them repeatedly. I can't stop! If I stop, I'll explode! Let go of me! What's going on? I want to know what's going on! You never run! You've been called to the boss's office numerous times because you fell asleep while walking and now you're sprinting? Let go of me! He tagged his arm free of me and brought the flask in one of his hands to his mouth, and that's when I saw the liquid as it poured into his maw. Dark and brown like the runny shits of a Biramiteran. The Gerossian jumped up once, then broke into a fresh sprint. I turned my eyes around the office. There was the Bigorian standing by the copy printer, printing what appeared to be thousands of pages of a novel he'd written in 3 days, and had already received a publishing contract for, according to office rumours. In his hand was a mug of dark brown liquid. There was the Spaloxian at the workboard, handling statistical analysis alone, something that takes a team of 3, while sipping from a yellow canteen. And the Derodian at HR, carrying out a full meeting on appropriate workplace behaviour. Her 3rd meeting of the day. She used to do one in 4 months. And beside her desk was a flask of dark brown liquid. The same liquid. Coffee. I rushed to the human's cubicle and found him fast asleep, head resting on his chest. There were pots of coffee all over the floor of his workspace, and a bunch of flasks and thermoses. He was fast asleep. His chiroputer was turned off and a fresh stack of filled paperwork was completed and resting on his work desk. You have been giving them coffee, I said. The human's eyes fluttered open, and he peered over at me with clear brown eyes. It's the coffee that makes them work like this. So? The human asked, nonchalant as always. So? I will report you to the boss. There are drug policies to be enforced within the workplace. And what will the boss do? He'll fire you. How about I just quit? What? The human raised his voice louder. Fine, I'll quit my job if that'll make you happy. I wondered why he was shouting. Suddenly there was a stampede, as everyone in the workplace except the sleeping boss suddenly crowded into the human's cubicle, pushing me in until I was pressed to the wall. Did I hear the human say he will quit? It's Gilvox. He was threatening the human. Suddenly, hands, mandibles, tentacles, telekinetic force, and slime-covered skin gripped every part of my body. I was raised and pushed higher up the wall by almost everybody in the office. I wanted to shout, but someone's pincers were pressed to my neck. Sweet Betsy from the records department took a bottle and broke it upon the human's desk, and she brought the sharp broken end of the bottle close to my face. Listen here, Gilvox. You have a loud mouth, so I just need you to nod if you understand. Not speak, nod, she said, and I nodded. The human is important to all of us. The human brings us coffee. Yes, without the coffee we can't function. It's as simple as that, another employee said. He's the only one who can brew the damn thing, you see, so we need him to continue working here. Not quitting, not being fired, but forever working here, a fellow joy said, flipping a barbed tentacle at my groin. Not that he works or anything. We handle all his work for him. His only task is the coffee. As long as the steady flow of coffee continues, all is well within this company, a Remisian said. His floppy tongue that dripped acid was inches from my naked arm. The coffee must flow, a Polisardrian said, while poking my side with what was unmistakably a pocket knife. Do you understand? Sweet Betsy asked, broken bottle pressing to my cheek. I nodded. What will you tell the boss? The human asked. He sat in his chair with 2 employees flanking him. He looked like a damn king, as the rest of the workers held me down for his pleasure. The pincers at my neck relented, and I could take in a shaky breath. The Fischloy touched my groin again with his barbed tentacle. What will you tell the boss? It echoed the human's words. You tetramites can't lie. They all moved to skewer, strangle, poke, grope, and prod me, so I screamed out, I'll resign! I'll resign! And I meant it. Instead of letting me go, I was carried away from the human's cubicle over the heads of everyone. I watched as the human sat there, a menacing smile on his face as he poured himself a mug of coffee that he brought to his lips until he was hidden from view by the mob of workers. They carried me outside the building and flung me onto the road. "Don't come back here tomorrow or we'll kill you," the Gerossian said, while twisting open his flask of coffee.